first time in history, all 4 belts in the cruiserweight division will belong proudly around the waist of one man.
Umar Ahmed, IFL TV, MTK Global. I'm at a Parker press conference today. I'm joined by Head of Sky Sports Boxing, Adam Smith. How are you, Adam?
Very good, thank you. Busy week. Busy week.
Very busy,
busy times.
So before we come on to the AJ Parker, let's talk about Dillian White Lucas Browne, which is obviously at the O2 tomorrow night. Yeah, tell us a bit about that.
Really excited about it. I was with both of them yesterday. Look, they've trained hard for it. I think it's a 50-50, maybe Dillian a slight favourite based on sort of added boxing skills, ring craft, activity, home advantage. But, you know, write someone like Lucas Browne off at your peril. I spent last night with Ricky Hatton, and he's very confident that at some point between the first and the 12th round, he will get Dillian White into a lot of trouble. He's got a huge power. Obviously, you can't rely on that power. But for Dillian, I think the key is that he has to remain smart. I think that he has to use his movement and his boxing ability. I think if he engages, he could come into problems. But of course, we want him to engage as fight fans. We all do. We want it to be a real firecracker. But I think for Dillian, he needs to win. That's the most important thing because, you know, he's right there. And if he can come through it, he gets a shot at the world title. So it's a massive fight. And it's also a massive card. I'm really looking forward to Frank Buglioni and Callum Johnson. That's a terrific match. We waited some weeks for that now.
Cardle Ritson for the British as
really looking forward to Ritson against Cardle as well. You know, they're great British title fights. So it's a stacked card. You've also got Derek Chisora, who we're all fond of. He's back. Anthony Fowler, Jamie Cox.
Yeah.
It's a great card. And I think it'll be a good atmosphere at the O2, and it's a perfect sort of appetizer before we get into the real business next week.
Yeah, there's done about 9,000, 10,000 tickets at the O2. What do you think? What's happened in the UK compared to America? Obviously, boxing was predominantly bigger in America, but what has happened in the last few years in the UK, in your opinion?
Michelle Phelps has moved over here. Radio Raheem is over
here.
Yeah,
always seeing
hearing his voice more times than I do sort of on the other side of the pond now. Michael Buffer calls it his second home. UK boxing is absolutely flying, and I think it's down to a number of reasons. Probably going back to 2012 at the London Olympics, and I think you know, that Team GB was phenomenal. I think, you know, it was such an operation under Robert McCracken and all the people that worked to get Anthony Joshua, Luke Campbell, Nicola Adams, Anthony Ogogo, all the guys into terrific shape, both, you know, in a ring and out of a ring. You know, they handle themselves so well now. Katie Taylor, of course, was a phenomenon at the Games too, and she spearheaded women's boxing going forward. I think Eddie Hearn's done a terrific job at Matchroom, and he makes the events come alive. That people want to come to boxing now. It's a night out. It's not just great fights, but it's great entertainment. You get the music, you get the buzz, you get people at ringside. You know, it's a people-watching event as well, and I think we're trying to get that through the television on Sky. So, no, we're in a really good place. And yeah, I mean, I love going to America still. We were there for Wilder and Ortiz recently.
Fight,
you know, a barn burner of a fight and a good atmosphere, but it wasn't anything like the atmospheres we get here. You know, they're second to none, and I think while Joshua is where he is, and while he's got a great supporting cast as well, the likes of your Brooks and your Khans and your Billy Joe Saunders and George Groves and so many others that are absolutely flying. I think we're in a really good place.
You talked about atmosphere. Obviously, next Saturday, 80,000 at the Millennium Stadium. The massive unification fight, AJ and obviously Joseph Parker. Do you think people are slightly underestimating Joseph Parker?
I really
Maybe
do.
Not people inside boxing, but just the general public.
I really do. I've watched Joe Parker for a number of years. I think the last year and a half he hasn't had those highlights, the showreel highlights that maybe people expected him to have. You know, he was touch and go with Andy Ruiz. He had a tough little patch against Carlos Takam. He wasn't great against Hughie Fury, I didn't think. But you know what? You know, there's been reasons, I think, behind the scenes for that. Maybe the elbows, maybe he just wasn't up for some of those fights, you know, fighting old sparring partners and stuff. This is his opportunity. Yes, he's an underdog, but he's young, he's unbeaten, he's got, you know, a great skill set, and he's very, very good. I think Anthony knows that, and I think he's going to have to be at his best. He's taken a bit of weight off. He looks sharper and he looks relaxed, Anthony Joshua. He looks in a really good place. I spent time with him in Sheffield, but so does Joseph Parker. Two happy fighters mean two good fighters. So expect a real blockbuster next Saturday night at the Principality. I cannot wait. I think it's a real fight, and I think it's a real interest in the world of boxing.
You summed it up well there, Adam. Thanks for talking to IFL today.
No in history, all 4 belts in the cruiserweight division will belong proudly around the waist of one man.